Well, hello. Can everybody hear me? Happy Sunday. Hello, everyone. Gosh, I missed you folks. I am back in beautiful, beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. The rioters were kind enough to be quiet so I could get some sleep the last couple nights. And I'm just, getting my sea legs back. So before we get the party started, be sure and share, like, subscribe, help a girl out. Hello, Michelle Mybell. Thank you for being here with us today. Sweet Lorraine, thank you for being a member extraordinaire, as is the beautiful Kay Gillette. Kay Gillette is evolving into a remarkable remote viewer that scares me sometime with her accuracy. Good to see you. Right now in HCRV, we're doing quick technique, in, out, in, out. We start that 7th week to get you ready for more advanced work. And it's fun. We had a series of pictures. We showed people evoking emotion, and then we had them go down, check their heart and connection. And then we showed you the picture. We had pictures like January 6th, the war room with the assassination of Osama bin Laden. And we got some very fun results. It's great. Hi, Michelle Pedersen. Good to see you here. Monday in New Zealand. Woohoo! Hi, Jeremy's in the house. Hi, Jeremy. Good to see you. Jamie G. Good to see you. Foggy Ozark. Thank you for the help today. Super Queen B45. Also great to see you. Desiree Robato. Hello, Douglas. The wonderful Douglas is here. Debbie Brady, Naomi M, Lee Des. Okay, so is everybody okay? Is everybody okay with all of the crazy stuff that is going on in the world? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to start with some of the remote viewings that I've been having over the last couple of days. Sound good? All right, so I've been meditating a lot about the question of Biden's approval rating. Does everybody know that that Biden's approval rating has dropped something like 31 points? Do you remember have you all seen that? So some of the criticisms about Biden have to do with the fact that people don't feel like anything is happening. There's a lot of jokes about his age, senility, etc. It's not a good time for Biden. But what I want people to do is start thinking like a little bit more like a remote viewer. Okay? So one of the things that we teach in remote viewing classes is we teach people to, well, as one mediumship training course said, we bring you right to the brink of death, right? And then we stop. Sounds a little spooky, but what we're saying is that we want you to be able to be so detached from this world to rise above it so that you can observe dispassionately and just watch the energy flow, right? Because if you're too biased as a remote viewer, if you're too much in your own head, in your own heart, and don't have that ability to pull back and float above the situation, watch the energy from a place of objectivity, that's really what we want you to do as a remote viewer, right? So with Biden, when we went into the energy, do you remember what we said a couple of months ago about Biden's energy? We said that he was going to have a rough time getting started, and that when you followed the energy, it crashed and there would be disappointment and that his approval rating would be awful. Do you remember all of that? And then we said that things stabilize in about 2.5 years, right? In about 2.5 years, we're looking at a very different America. And the reason why is because some of what we're building right now and the tipping point that we're looking at is moving towards what is inevitable, which is that the whole planet is doing a reset, right? It's doing a reset where we're now moving towards the new global green economy, right? And so, as a result of that, the international community has pledged $40 trillion to switch the grid, to get everything up to snuff. Our country has pledged trillions in the new infrastructure package, et cetera. And so what happens is the opposition is very, very intense because they really want to make him look bad and they want to take back the House in 2022. And so what happens is that it looks like chaos in the beginning and his ratings go down. But then as these benefits and these allies and these people he's employed start to develop the programs of this administration, we start to see people's living conditions improving, benefits improving, the work is being built, the infrastructure is starting to happen, and all of the things that were supposed to happen in the 70s and 80s, projects literally that have been blocked, like rebuilding dams. Dams are collapsing because they haven't received the benefits and the help they needed from from the 80s, right? Same with the bridges that are collapsing. It's been basically blocking infrastructure for 20, 30 years. And this is the first time we really start to see the problems being addressed. So we're going to see a huge overhaul of infrastructure. We're seeing the average minimum wage for construction workers starting at about $27, $28 an hour with benefits, right? Works a little bit better than minimum wage, right? The other thing is rapid immigration. Rapid immigration. A lot of the crap that was happening before is not going to be happening. We desperately need more workers. We've lost 14 million full-time workers to COVID because 800,000 people died and millions more retired and wound up with chronic illness and can no longer be full-time workers. So there goes 14 million workers. The other thing that happened is we had the great walkout. So that 14 million that left put additional pressure on those that stayed. So what happened to the people that got 3 times more work because of the people that died or left or quit or retired? They walked out because of overwork. So now we need workers and the wages increase. So that whole process of stabilization is going to take about 2.5 years. Can you guys see that? All right. So I think that also changes the dynamics of the midterms. I mean, the Debbie Downer, and I think this is something that some of the other readers that I respect have said. Sure, it looks bad right now because the wave of energy, his energy was up, he won, and then his energy dipped down because of chaos. And then once you get stabilization and you start to see these programs work, it starts to rise again. And we're going to see that dip start to rise up again. Probably, I'm going to go ahead and predict based on this energy, in about 4 or 5 months, we're going to start to see the turn. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? So what you can do is during your meditations, I want you to be able to just stand back and observe emotions, right? Be a good little Zen Buddhist or a good Mahayana Buddhist. And just see if you can't step back and observe the flow of the energy and see if you don't feel the same thing that I'm feeling. Okay? The second remote viewing had to do with Kamala Harris, right? Kamala. That's how I know how to pronounce it from that song. So Kamala Harris is having a difficult time, right? So I believe her main assistant quit last week. Is that correct? There's been several people that have walked off the floor. According to private meetings between VP Harris and Biden, he literally there's a conflict and he told her to get her act together. It's not good. So there's this tension that's starting to build between Biden and Harris, right? All these people quitting, not being able to get things together, her feeling like she's being shoved aside and not being given any real direction. There is a feeling when you go into VP Harris's energy, like they've got to get her up to snuff. They've got to get her at a certain level. But the people that feel like they've been brought in to train her, that she's not listening and that she is defiant. They're kind of they're kind of accusing her of being defiant, like she's her own worst enemy. I don't see that. I see her really starting to stabilize the VP position also in the next 4 months. But this was a really difficult time. In her defense, they walked into a disaster, right? They walked into a disaster and everything was a mess. Every aspect of her position, every aspect of Biden's position, the entire system was a mess. And that created a lot of problems. What I see with Harris in terms of her maturity is a willingness to begin to really sit down and do the work that's going to be necessary over the next 4 months so that her position can become more stabilized. And I think she's going to make a great president. But, again, it's like having your sea legs, right? So while Biden had his colonoscopy, we had a woman be the president, the temporary president for the first time. And that's cool. But I think she's going to do just fine. But this is kind of a learning curve. But we're going to, again, see her energy starting to stabilize and her department starting to stabilize in the next 4 months. And then the beautiful thing that starts to happen within the next 4 to 6 months with VP Harris is that they're going to start building some really beautiful programs. And I also see her doing a lot with the poor and particularly poor children, which I think is wonderful. So that is what I see with Harris. She's going to do just fine, but very nerve-wracking. A lot that has to get done before things stabilize. Oh, Bad Boy Rob is here. Hi, Bad Boy. What do y'all think? You want to talk about the remotes a little bit, and then maybe we'll do a collective reading? Oh, the oil rights? Well, that's because they're trying to stabilize OPEC because we now have competition from other areas and OPEC is going up. So it's a bit of a disaster. And now you have Putin. We gave him his oil, right? Remember when we started almost 3 years ago with Putin having temper tantrums and nobody knew what the hell he was talking about? I want my tuna, give me my tuna, I hate you, I want to get back into Afghanistan. Remember that whole screaming and ranting and raving from Putin? I want to get back into Afghanistan, get the hell out of Afghanistan, get the hell out of my trade routes, get the hell out. Remember that? The guy was like obsessive compulsive, right? What the hell is he talking about? This is what he was talking about. Get the hell out of Afghanistan, get the hell out of Syria, get the hell out of Iraq, get the hell out of Libya, and let me have my damn trade. So that's going to upset the oil market. So we can either give it to him, which is part of the problem with OPEC and everything else, or, let's show some, Biden's between a rock and a hard place. What's he going to do? We still are on oil. We still need oil, and we still need to have affordable prices. So it's a mess. But again, it goes back to we need 2.5 years before we can't just stop now, right? So that, I believe, is where Biden's at. Okay. Cray cray, as Linda would say, right? Cray cray. Lots going on. A lot is going on. All right. I forgot to get my water. How about I go and get some water? You get some water. We chat a little bit. And then how about everybody get a group reading, a message from your spirit guides, angels, etc. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to go grab some water, talk amongst yourselves, discuss, grab your coffee. Let's talk about all of this. All right, I think we need to talk, have a little coffee, and grab my water, and let's discuss. I'll be back in a sec. Wow, crazy times. I had a third remote viewing that I just remembered that we had to go over, and that has to do with ongoing international criminal investigations. Hi, Terry. Good to see you here. Remember a couple of years ago when we followed the energy on the international investigations that were taking place into Russia's meddling? And we said that the British are coming. So we had the Steele dossier, we had investigations happening out of British intelligence, etc. And now we have the situation with Bannon, right? So what's happening with Bannon is that he is facing additional charges, and we believe he will most likely be subpoenaed and questioned by the international community, not just the feds. He's looking at international investigations and possibly additional charges outside the United States. Okay, so a lot of that is coming from Britain. A lot of that investigation is coming from the British, and it's part of an ongoing investigation. They also shut down a lot of international pedophile rings, etc. Bannon was a rat. He was going on these mega boats. He was attending these parties. He was witnessing things. He was witnessing dirty dealings. And to stay out of jail, he had a former job, I think, with the Pentagon. He was ratting on people, and everybody knew he was playing both sides, right? I see him cooperating. I see him cooperating with an ongoing international investigation, and I see him being questioned by intelligence agencies in Europe and specifically Britain. So it's over for him. Just like the last time we threw, again, it was death. It's always death with him. His career, everything. He really lost everything. Right? So that's the last thing I would say about Bannon and why we start to see this international energy coming in from places like Britain as all of this crap starts to come together. All right, so those are the remote views. Yeah. So again, I just wanted to say before we do the group reading, thank you everyone who's shown love and compassion to my big sister. She's having a rough time, she's trying to really rise above this. She's trying to stay clean and sober. She's trying to get her head together. And it's a lot. Knowing that this community is behind her, I was reading some of your comments to her. It has really been comforting to her. And she's very, very appreciative. So I just wanted to let you all know that directly. Okay, now the next part of the show. Would you like to get your message from Spirit today? Your remote viewing or your tarot reading? I think you should get a reading. I think you should. I think you deserve that, don't you? Well, you guys are good. You see Debbie there? Whimsy, don't forget the empath's prayer. That's right. Aw, thank you, Foggy Ozark. Okay, let's do it. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community. As we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records, we call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Let's see what Spirit wants to tell us. Somebody, I get questions all the time. May I say the empath's prayer? I'm like, I don't own the empath's prayer. Anybody can say the empath's prayer before they do a reading. It's the empath's prayer. It's for anybody who wants to say it before they go in. Or you can do your own version. You could rewrite the empath's prayer in a way that works for you, right? Short and sweet. Some kind of protection is always important, right? Okay, where we are at right now, we are stressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm stressed. You all see what I've been going through. Our base matter is the 9 of Swords. This can be a feeling of being overwhelmed in this community, a feeling like it's too much, that the stress levels are beyond what you can handle. Now, this is something that we've talked about in terms of psychology, right? Allostasis, the ability to stabilize yourself, right? The ability to, if you're in a crisis situation, if you're in a stress situation, do you have a way to calm yourself, get organized, and say, okay, I'm being overwhelmed by my current life. What is the immediate problem? Number one, you got to take care of your health. You cannot fall apart right now. Your number one priority, don't argue with me, I hear you in my head. Your number one priority is that you must stop everything you're doing and you got to take care of yourself. That means number one, how's your sleep? You cannot handle your current situation if you're not getting any sleep. You must get rest. The other thing is, how's your meditation? If you're having so much anxiety that you're not able to meditate, if you're not doing a consistent practice, that's a problem. Number one, you got to take care of yourself, because you're not going to be able to take everything that's hitting you right now if you don't. Number one, you must take care of yourself. If you're feeling like it's too much, what's happening with the Democrats, what's happening with the cray-cray of Kyle Rittenhouse and all of this stuff, if your health is suffering, if number one, you have to stop everything, you got to take care of you. That is really my number one message to you. If you do that, everything else will fall into place. Are you eating right? How much exercise are you doing every day? Can you exercise? This is what they're talking about. If it's more than you can handle, find out who you can go to for help to get additional assistance. Don't do it on your own. If your brain is mush, if you feel like you can't even think, I want you to take a piece of paper, get into a quiet place, and just start talking on the paper about what you need in order to feel better, because that has to be your priority before anything else. Okay. Your karma card is the 6 of Wands, okay, which is victory. And you know, I read wands as month cards so that I can get a timeline. Pentacles are weeks. Wands are months, right? So we're talking about a 6-month period where your energy is heading in a positive place. We say as a person gets older, age accelerates, right? So 70 to 80 is a bigger difference than, say, someone 20 to 30. Right? But what we learn with natural medicine by increasing bioflavonoids, exercise, etc., is we learn that people actually can, to some extent, age in reverse. Right? Oh, Paramahansa Yogananda, very nice. Yes, that's good stuff, right? Good food, good Ayurvedics, good mantras. Just playing mantras in your home can change the vibration. This is something I've talked to my big sister about. Just changing the vibration from depression to a higher octave through mantras can help. but you're actually headed towards a really positive direction in the sense that with the Six of Wands there as your base, you're really taking care of yourself. You will be okay. Where you're at right now, the Fool takes a leap of faith. Some of you are going to be making some major decisions that are really going to dramatically affect your life. And one of the decisions you've made is to give yourself permission to have a little fun and to be happy. Don't be so afraid of the outside world. Not everybody's a jerk. Look at this community. This community gave my sister, $4,400 to save her life, right? So not everyone's an asshole, right? So we have the Fool takes a leap of faith regarding what your social life. Too much isolation, too much being alone is going to make you feel like you don't have anybody. And that's just not objective reality. You have this community, and this community, you can come to us for help. We will do what we can to help you. You are not alone. That is an illusion. And there are good people in this world that do care, right? So we have to come together and see the reality of that and do what we have to do to be about our business, help ourselves, take care of ourselves, be around positive people, and everything's going to be okay. There's more good than bad in the world. What is above us, 10 of Cups, some of you are entering into a very romantic time in your life, right? Romantic, beautiful energy being manifested for some of you. Has anybody been watching? I don't want to embarrass anybody, but has anybody been watching Diane's Tarot ever since she got back from Egypt? She looks like a goddess, right? So there's this beautiful energy coming in where everyone is kind of coming into their power, into their spiritual beauty, and it's really being expressed in wonderful ways. And it's drawing people's soulmates and love and romance and beauty. Go to that higher vibration, take care of your higher self, let your divine come through, and of course you're going to be beautiful, right? So 10 of Cups comes to you. If you want a lover, if you want romance, if you want a soulmate, your wish has been granted. The third house is the 9 of Cups. Your wish has been granted regarding a successful marriage. So if that's, and Fool card being the first house and a celebration, in the next 6 months, many of you will be connecting with higher soulmates just because the vibration changes. Here's the other thing that Spirit is telling you, and this is really important. I want you guys to write it down. I want you to start writing down all of the things that you do that self-sabotage you or put you in a situation that's causing you to become unhappy right now. Does that work for you? Because your past placement is 8 of Swords. Don't put yourself in situations you regret afterwards. Find out what it is that's causing you to be in this situation. Okay, I don't want to be in this marriage, or I don't want to be in this job, or et cetera, et cetera. This is someone who feels that they place themselves in a situation that's stressful. And your 6th house, what you're entering into, is 5 of Swords. Learn not to sweat the little stuff. Prioritize. What do you want and what do you need right now in order to become happy right now? What do you need to be healthy right now? You must take care of yourself first and foremost. Where you're at right now, the star is over you, the 7th house. You receive again blessings and anointings from Spirit. The other in opposition to you offers healing. So there could be reconciliation between you and those you have conflict with, people who have done you wrong, people who have misrepresented you, abused you, stolen from you, hit on your husband in front of you, right? I've seen it all, right? So Page of Cups comes in the opposition so that as you take care of yourself and the reality of who and what you are becomes apparent as you are about your business, the others who have had opposition to you begin to say, wow, I too now see you for who and what you really are. I must make amends. There's this energy coming in for you where others who have done you wrong want to make amends. You're hope and fear. You don't want to fight anymore. You don't want, it's too exhausting. You're tired of the same fights. You're tired, let's agree to disagree. And the final outcome is you must establish boundaries between yourself and those in your life that are toxic, because it's not good for your health. You can see here, Two of Swords is the final outcome. And the clarification for you: be about your business, your career, your finances, etc. That's another thing. I'd like to see everybody living below their means. Frugal, frugal, frugal. Organize your credit card debt, all of that stuff, because the Queen of Pentacles is coming in. Financial stress doesn't have to be part of the problem. And the other in opposition to you in relationship with your finances is actually people giving you solid advice. There's the Queen of Wands here. I'm the Queen of Wands too. The Queen of Wands is the person who stands Judah and she makes it happen. And the Queen of Pentacles being about your business. They also say those of you who are involved in business in the next month are going to be making some really positive decisions. And I'm sorry to say some of you will be ending relationships that no longer serve you. A final outcome, Two of Swords and Hangman means that if relationships are giving you nothing but grief, you may be having to let them go. That's the collective. Pretty powerful, pretty intense collective. And I think it speaks to a lot of what we are all going through right now. So does anybody want to share how they feel about the collective, or if in any way it spoke to them or helped them? Now would be a good time. And then we can get the order and blitz, blitz, blitz away. Oh, congratulations, Jane. You've made a decision that is positive for you. Oh, I'm glad, Super Queen Bee. Very appropriate and timely. Yeah, those cards are all about boundaries, right? Five of Swords. If you can't win, if it's just a headache, walk away. Nine of Swords. Look, my situation, I love my sister, but there are days when I say, I just 5 minutes to myself because it's just too much. There's only so much I can take, right? And the same with all of us. We have to know our limits. Okay, so we're going to go ahead writing down questions of blitzes that people want me to do. Whatever you guys want me to blitz on, I'll be here for another, I don't know, half hour, whatever, however long you want. And we can do some blitzes. All right, so the first question we're getting is coming from Jay. Hi, Jay. Thanks for being here. Jay wants to know what the future of voting rights is here in the United States. Okay. Let us see about voting rights in America. I want to look at the future of the Supreme Court after that. Voting rights in America. Good to see everybody. Really missed you guys. All right, where we're at right now in terms of voting right, major decisions having to be made and corporations getting involved. We can see the base of the matter is a judgment, and there's the business. This goes back to shaming the corporations. The power that we have right now is in shaming the corporations because of the power that the corporations have in determining what kind of democracy we have. They have too much power. Right? It's like people are afraid of Facebook, Google. They want to dissolve them, break them up, etc., because of the amount of power they have and how it has definitely had an impact on the political landscape. But you can see judgments coming in, and it has to do with business. So it goes back to the message we had from Spirit a couple of weeks ago. If you want to change the system, go after the businesses, shame the businesses, just like what we had to do with Renown Medical. We shamed them publicly. Now, whether or not it's going to make any change, I don't know. But boycotts and public shaming can definitely help. And it seems to be what they're suggesting. The fool takes a leap of faith regarding a situation that we placed ourselves in. There's a feeling here that in the United States, apathy, putting our head in the sand, playing Nintendo, or whatever we were doing while our country was being sold, right? While people like Michael Flynn are making $30 million by doing a deal with Erdogan, right? Which led to the massacre of Kurds, etc., right? Selling out your country. That kind of energy is really the energy we're dealing with. We can go to the feds, but the scary thing is that it almost looks like corporations are more powerful than our federal government, and they have more power in terms of determining who's going to be elected. So we have, unfortunately, a Nine of Wands in the fourth house, which is to feel jailed or trapped. What we sit in is the King of Wands. King of Wands is the energy of the good judge. He's the person who's the leader. He's in a position of power. I think of Adam Schiff as that kind of energy. So I like the fact that our foundation is the King of Wands in the sense that it's a foundation that speaks of being able to be in touch with reality, being able to humble ourselves, being able to organize ourselves in ways that are just, sane, rational. Four of Swords is here also, which can be in the grave, Nine of Wands. So there's a feeling like we literally have lost our country. Also be very careful about politicians. Seventh house is a Knight of Cups. It can indicate false promises. We pulled double aces, which is Ace of Swords in the opposition, and Ace of Wands is the hope and the fear. And then the final outcome is Tower or a crash. So what I see is that there's going to be a major impasse between the corporations and the dark money and the American citizen. That's basically what it looks like. And then the clarification for it is that in the end, we win and Gaia wins. But we're looking at a real conflict. The only way that we can win is if we weaken the corporations. We use our power. We must use our power to weaken the corporations. This is the only way we can save our democracy. Final outcome is Gaia. Our concern is theft, shady business, lobbyists selling out our country, having an affair, right? With who? The false knight. Then we have this explosion, the tower coming in, and in the end, Gaia wins the new green economy. The weird thing about conservatives is that when we talk about a more perfect union and people coming together, conservatives think it's an anti-American stance. Now you damn liberals with your perfect union, trying to keep the United States together in the perfect union, you damn liberals. No, that's the Constitution. People who are opposed to the people who are so confused, they think that the values of the Constitution are liberal values and a threat to America. That is how confused these people are, right? Perfect union. I don't want him living next door to me, right? Cray. We will win, but you got to go after the corporations. You've got to break them down. You've got to weaken them, and you have to attack. You have to attack them legally, you have to attack them financially, and you have to publicly shame them. The only way we can win is if we dismantle and attack the corporations. The base of the matter was the Queen of Pentacles. Then Tower. It's headed towards, right? So we have to break them down. These corporations like Google that have to be broken down. All of those things have to happen. Weakening them, a boycott, public shaming, penalties, Justice Department, all of that is the way we save our democracy. By weakening them, we strengthen our government. That's basically the message. Aw, thank you for the donation, Mr. Christopher. That's very kind of you. Okay, so there's a lot of questions here. Somebody had asked about the Build Back Better plan. Can't find where that question was. Well, I'll just type it out. Build Back Better pass the Senate. Thank you to the person who asked that question. Sorry, I'm having trouble here. Okay, let me go ahead and pin this. Let's take a look. We'll do 4 cards on it. Build Back Better. Oh, it was you, Debbie? Okay. Yeah, it's the corporations. It's dirty business. It's 2 of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles and Lovers in the 7th house with the politicians doing dirty business and pocketing the change. The only choice we have based on that card is we have to go after them because they are the threat to our democracy. So they are the people that means, stop spending money there, stop promoting them, stop. Terrible. Build Back Better. Build Back Better passes, yes, because you have the first house is the Magician card. Actually, I'm going into this energy. Mitch McConnell is embarrassed. There's a feeling here that Mitch McConnell is embarrassed. Mitch McConnell voted for the last stimulus, and I believe so did his creepy friend, Lindsey Graham. Sorry. So we have the Magician card. The problem isn't the Build Back Better. The problem is that I'm feeling scared and vulnerable as Mitch McConnell, as an empath, as I go into this, and I'm cooperative with Biden right now as Mitch McConnell because something is going on with me, and I've been publicly embarrassed because something's going to come. It's the Derapaska. Derapaska is facing charges. And again, it's both here and international charges as well, right? He bribed politicians. The money is getting linked back to Derapaska. They've already raided him and probably building a case which will eventually lead to him being charged. So that's going back to Mitch McConnell. So basically, they're all about to be outed for traitors. So it tends to make them more cooperative. Wouldn't you agree? So now Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell are a little bit, things changed a lot after the raid on Derapaska. You can see here the 2nd house, the opposition, Mitch McConnell. It's almost like, oh my God, it's like they opened up the drawer and they found all the evidence. Yeah, again, it succeeds. Victory. I think that they will pass it, but there is, I feel like Mitch McConnell, these people got caught. They sold their country, just like people had said, people had accused them of. And oh my God, they did it to themselves. Mitch McConnell. Look at this. Look at Mitch McConnell. That's Mitch McConnell. Here's Biden. Whose cards would you rather have? Biden's or the opposition? Final outcome for the opposition. Judgment. They're confused. Two of Swords, refusing to cooperate with an investigation. He's in serious trouble. Wow, man. He may have to leave the Senate in disgrace with cards like that. Did you see those cards? Those are the worst cards I've ever seen for Mitch. Have you ever seen such horrible cards for Mitch McConnell? His health is bad too. I think he's got coronary artery disease, and he might be on Plavix or something like that with all that bruising. But Three of Swords over him could also indicate he has coronary artery disease. It's time for him to go. He's part of that investigation. Then they had that Two of Pentacles and Lovers from the previous throw, and that was horrible. Did you guys think that was horrible? Three of Swords is the outcome. He's too sick to be there, don't you think? Bad. That was terrible. Those I can say with confidence, those are the worst cards I've ever seen from Mitch McConnell ever. Okay, I don't know what this is, Joel. The fairness doctrine, or if that's a question. But it sounds like it would be interesting. Does anybody know what this fairness doctrine is? Oh, the Pandora Papers. Oh, okay. Right. So, thank you, Joel. See, I'm like half awake. You guys are so much smarter. You guys are so much smarter than me. I forgot about that. Right. So what you're saying is it's because all this stuff broke open about all this money. Oh my God, all that money overseas. And it goes back to the international reporters that worked together. And here's the thing that's interesting about the Pandora Papers when you do a remote view. It shows wealthy, powerful people cooperating with reporters in order to expose wealthy, powerful people. And that kind of made me feel like, gosh darn it, not every wealthy person's a jerk, because the Pandora Papers would not have come out if it hadn't been for cooperation from people in positions of power. And so that gave me a little hope. All right, so let's look at the fallout for the Pandora Papers. I'm still stunned by Mitch McConnell's cards. I've never seen that for him. I guess he's done. Pandora. Not good. All right, what's going to be the fallout from the Pandora paper? It would be great if we could build a build a campaign of shame around it, right? Pandora Papers. Oh, this is so interesting. What's going to happen to the people that are involved in the Pandora Papers is their karma. It's like their karma. The consequences of what they did are, start off their karma. What they are facing is based on their own choices. They did this to themselves again, right? It's their karma. Now, what happened with the Pandora Papers, based on what I can get from the Akashic records and the cards, is that people were told, they were seduced, they were compromised, They were seduced and compromised slowly. They were wined and dined, and then the wining and the dining made them think that this was all okay and that it was a good thing and that they wouldn't get in trouble. The Knight of Cups came to them. I can wine you. I can dine you. I can make you feel better. Yeah, the lobbyists are great people. Yeah, this company is great because they've built a private bank account for me in the Cayman Islands. Remember when I was going to islands over the water and I was, when I looked at Putin and these hidden money, I was going to the South. I was going to play the Pandora Papers, right? Costa Rica had money, etc. It was the Pandora Papers. That's what we were in, right? So you have the Night King. It was their karma. But here's the thing: they thought that they were going to be okay. They're not going to be okay because the poverty card is coming in, which means that they're about to be audited. They're going to be audited. It's tax haven, sort of. There are international tax laws that were violated. There were like international laws that were violated. The international community is after them, and it wasn't legal. It was not legal. This goes back to what Robert Mueller said in the original investigation when we did a remote on Robert Mueller and the feds. What did they say when we went in? They said that, as I heard it, millions and trillions and billions of dollars are leaving the United States without being taxed, and that is the real investigation. Do you remember when Mueller said that when we went into the remote? And here we are again, and the Pandora Papers. This is what they were talking about. So again, possible taxation, 5 of Pentacles, will result in poverty because of an investigation. So yes, they are going to face legal consequences because of an investigation, and it's their karma, and they were seduced. The Wheel of Fortune strife card happening very quickly. So what we're also seeing is we're seeing an investigation that now that it's outed could be happening very quickly. The people who seduced, the people who conned others into doing this are under investigation themselves. So if I bribe you and lie to you and con you into taking the money, I'm the person that's under investigation. You can see Judge Judy right over the trick, right over the false knight. So I think that they're also going after the big money and the people who corrupted and compromised them. Regarding poverty or taxation, there's some kind of a celebration. Maybe the general public is going to celebrate that justice happens because there's a 3 of Cups over the poverty. So again, it would suggest that something is going to happen wherein they're going to be held accountable. And regarding the investigation, within the next 6 months, we're going to probably see charges and consequences because the final outcome is 6 of Wands and because it started off as a karma. So I'm going to go ahead and interpret this as within 6 months, their karma is going to be seen, and it's an expose, and there isn't it led to massive investigations, and the people that bribed them are in even more trouble than the people who have been bribed. That's basically how it looks. Naughty. Bad people doing bad things. Wow. Crazy. Offshore tax havens. So it's oh, interesting. That's the fairness doctrine. So, thanks for explaining that to me, Melissa. So Kevin McCarthy is one of those people who I don't think, if I recall, his cards are all that great. We haven't really done Kevin McCarthy in a while. Foggy Ozark talking with Sarah. Kevin McCarthy now leads the Republican Senate as a minority leader. His minority leader For now, Democrats are in control of the Senate. Okay, with Chuck Schumer. So I think we had some bad cards last time for him. And I want to just go ahead and see the future of Kevin McCarthy and his crazy Republican Party. Is that, I wonder what that is? That couldn't happen to better people, Pam. After that, I want to do Derapaska because I want to see what happens to Derapaska. I think he's going to get charged. You don't raid someone like that in an ongoing criminal investigation about bribing politicians, and that if you don't intend on charging him. And the fact that there's an international investigation, I can't imagine that Derapaska wouldn't also be facing charges via Interpol, the Hague, etc., because that's always where we wind up. We always wind up with those jail cards like the 901s. But let's take a look. Kevin McCarthy's future. This is fun today. I'm having fun. Okay. Kevin McCarthy. Whoa. Huh. Huh. I don't see him staying in Congress. That surprises me. They say that it's likely that Kevin McCarthy will not be staying in the Congress for much longer. Something's going to happen. He's leaving. Let me tell you, he's got a 5 of Swords. So something happens where Kevin McCarthy could, like Paul Ryan, gets driven out of Congress. You can see also what's moving in for him is the Chariot. Walking away from a battle he cannot win, Chariot moving on to something else. Knight of Wands, traveling possibly to another state, and then the Sun coming out, which can be an expose or something like that. I'll do a clarification, but it looks like something happens where McCarthy is not going to be able to remain in Congress, which is kind of not what I would have expected. Isn't that crazy? All right, so he walks away because of fighting and conflict in the party. So I think what's going to happen is that the party is going to be transformed into a party that McCarthy's version of the party becomes weakened. And then he leaves. He's on his own. He made his money. He's financially stable. It looks like he moves to another state, too, because he's given some kind of an offer. You can see the move here and the offer. And then regarding the exposure, 10 of Cups, a celebration. Evidence. It's just easier for him to leave. That's basically what happens. It becomes increasingly conflicted between him and the Republicans. The extreme branch of the Republican Party becomes weakened. And it looks like he leaves, takes his money, is financially stable, takes an offer possibly for another place. He does well for himself. There's some kind of an expose, and the clarification card, 10 of Wands. I think he might get away with some stuff, but with a 10 of Wands, I think that his reputation will be deeply damaged. I don't see a future with those. I can't interpret with those travel cards and everything else. I can't interpret it that Kevin McCarthy is going to be staying there. There's just too much there showing mobility and leave. 5 of Swords. I just don't see somebody that's going to be staying. Yeah. I didn't expect that. Did you guys? I thought he would be around a while, but it seemed to be saying that the Republican Party is going through some major changes, and the extreme wing is dying out, and it's taking Kevin McCarthy with it. Six of Cups has some interesting aspects. It can be to be seduced or pulled, right? It can be romantic, return to the days of old. So for the Republican Party, that would actually be something positive because they used to be a really good party, right? Under Lincoln. So if you get a Six of Cups coming in and he's leaving, it would suggest that it's returning back to the values it used to have, and extremists are going to probably be pushed out of the party. Yeah, exactly, J. Margie Green. And Boebert and McCarthy. They're part of a former party under Trump that is waning. It seems to be what the energy is suggesting. Okay, I wanted to look at Derapaska, right? Do you guys want to see what goes on with that raid? Because I think there's a lot that's going to happen with it. Derapaska. I apologize if I didn't spell his name right. A lot of teachers that work here, and y'all know I can't spell. I'm still working on secession. Okay. I grew up a poor girl, so I still make some grammar mistakes. Okay, Derapaska. The future of This is so much fun. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun. It's like you guys are my friends and we have Sundays together. And then when I don't get to hang out with you for Sunday brunch, I kind of like get bummed, Derapaska's future. Okay, Derapaska's future. Oh, geez, Louise. In the grave. He has no future. Dang, that's harsh. Yes, the world. So I keep seeing the consequences and fighting with the world. He's got some kind of an international investigation. It's like America got him. We raided him and we got him, and now we caught him, and there's this international conflict that results in his grief, and it starts with he's finished. His cards are terrible. You remember when that prostitute said she had proof that Derapaska was part of the election fraud? That evidence, the feds have that evidence. That's what this is. But they didn't need her to do it. He took the money. They took the money, right? The politicians took the money, and the money was followed by Robert Mueller, and then he passed the information on to the feds, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what the cards say regarding it. It's over for Derapaska, and he's facing international charges in jail. You can see the jail card here, 9 of Wands. This is how it starts for Derapaska. Any other readers here see that as positive? Not me. So as the energy moves on regarding the world, his international pursuits, and then his karma, results in what? Conflicts and heartbreak for Derapaska. And it will end for him with grief. And we've got a Four of Pentacles card, which is frugality, poverty, and probably an investigation of the coin. It's over. He's caught and probably facing prison both in the U.S. and in the Hague with these cards. Yeah. Right. The Buddha card, looking at the coin, examining, being under the microscope, grief, heartbreak and conflict, karma over world events, and it's over, facing jail. Yeah. Again, terrible. Those are horrible cards. What do y'all think? I feel sorry for Albert Einstein. His family basically abandoned him. He was homeless at 15. They basically took off and forgot to take him with them. He was not, I mean, I think they probably saw him as a loser. He drops out of school at 15. His family moves, and they forget to take him with him. So he winds up in Switzerland trying to catch up on his education. He meets his girlfriend who works as a tutor to get him into school. Then he marries her, but um, you can't help but read Einstein's childhood. Like, how could your parents have dumped you at 15? I mean, it's just shocking what happened to Einstein. No wonder he had mental health problems. He treated his second wife like crap, by the way. Um, but yeah, you read his stories like, this is not normal. What do you mean your family just took off and left you by yourself? And I mean, it was just, he had a crazy childhood, Einstein. He was abused at school too. You know, he was called an idiot. His family wanted nothing to do with it. It's just very sad. Right, Desert. Well, actually, he gave her the Nobel Prize money. So, and he did say, my wife does all my calculations for me. But she had a breakdown. She couldn't continue with school because she got pregnant and had to give her baby up for adoption. And the mental strain cost her career. Yeah, pretty sad. All right, so we're at 12:10. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, if you could like and subscribe and help increase my numbers, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, just biographies on Einstein. It's just horrific. I mean, I was reading this and it was just so. They just talked about what happened to him in such a laissez-faire. I'm like, what do you mean he was on the streets at 15? This is not normal childhood. This is horrific. So I'm sure he had all kinds of mental health issues. Terrible. All right, Beto. We'll do one more and then I'm going to call it a day. Okay, the future of Beto. Is Beto going to be the governor of Texas? The cards for Beto. Beto O'Rourke. The police, the people who are in charge, there are people in charge in Texas that are working together to destroy Beto O'Rourke. So that's the first thing I feel. Meetings taking place between people like police, people, uh, people in positions of power, having private meetings, engaging in illegal activities. Ten of Pentacles. The dark side of the Ten of Pentacles is dirty family secrets, right? People whispering in the family. It's a legacy card, but it has a dark aspect. Child abuse, dirty secrets. There's something going on in Texas where they're remember I always say, keep your eyes on Texas, keep your eyes on Texas. When Texas falls, the tensions in Texas, the grid, the people in positions of power, working secretly with the chief of police in a particular area to secretly sabotage a politician, that kind of energy is swirling around his campaign. Confusion, trying to create chaos in his campaign. What they're going to try to do is they're going to try and create chaos for Beto O'Rourke. They're going to try and gaslight and confuse and engage in dirty little secrets to try and sabotage him. And unfortunately, lovers. others, secret little dealings, secret little communications between others. That's what it feels like. There's a secret campaign to go after Beto O'Rourke, and it involves people in positions, corrupt politicians, and people who work for the police, etc. That's what it looks like. Lovers, Two of Cups. I'm worried about this energy. They really are after this guy. And what they're trying to do is sabotage his campaign so it goes up in smoke. If he loses, it's because of this attempt by the opposition to muddy the waters. If they can avoid chaos, like no drama Obama, and realize that that's what's happening and that it's all just chaos and that we need to stop being manipulated by fake media, Facebook, etc. If we can hang up this, the cray-cray, the gaslighting, stay focused and not get seduced, be patient and consistent, then yes, he can win. But if we fall into chaos and believe every crazy thing, we are empathic, right? The Democrats tend to be more emotional, more sensitive, and so we're easily manipulated. And then we become the crying, hysterical lunatic, and they run off with the governorship, right? So that is the biggest threat to his campaign, creating chaos, crazy stories, etc., that confuse and cause the Democrats to attack one another. And if that happens, his campaign's going to go up in smoke. So we just have to be aware of that. Also, with temperance coming in, just calm down, recognize we're being manipulated, and stay focused. That's basically what they're saying. It's interesting. We had one more question that I thought was kind of interesting. Can't see it. There's one that I thought was kind of interesting. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's from Jennifer Vivian. Hi, Jennifer. She wants to know if we can throw on Murdoch's media. I'm going to have this be the last one, though, because it's already past 12, and I want to give the other readers a chance if Linda's coming on today, too, just to respect their time. So we'll just do one more, and it's going to be on the future of Murdoch's media. Really fun to see everybody today. It's a good day. Murdoch's media empire. I mean, it's a very large, it looks like the media is large, and it looks like it has multiple locations and multiple venues, like fake rags, that, papers with, aliens landing, and, it had alien babies, right? What was that Hillary Clinton had an alien baby, right? So it has that kind of feel to it. Knight of Wands would indicate more than one direction or more than one place. Knight of Pentacles, strong foundation. Four of Pentacles, analyzing things. Knight of Cups, trickster. False knight. It's going to be really hard, honestly, to destroy an enterprise like this, because it functions as a wing of conservative politics that are very similar to what happened in South Africa, which is where you get the locals to kill one another, and that's how you remain in power. You get the Kozu to hate the Zulu. You get the Zulu to hate the Kozu. You spread fake rumors back and forth, and while they're killing each other, then you come in and say, well, the military has to come in to stabilize things. Otherwise, the Kozu and the Zulu will kill one another. Same thing happened in Palestine, right? The British occupied Palestine and then they went around spreading fake rumors. Oh, the Jews are killing Arabs in Jerusalem, which led to the massacre, right? In on the where was it? Where the massacre took place, and hundreds of Jewish people, men, women, and children, were slaughtered because the British had been lying about massacres in Jerusalem. And then, well, we got to come in and we got to stabilize things, right? So then the British created a military to control the Palestine, and they created this hatred that they created the chaos because they wanted to continue to control the area. So that's basically the playbook of the Tories. It's to get the victims to attack, to use all their energy to attack one another. It's also the technique they're using against Beto O'Rourke in his campaign. If we continue to be victims of that, right, being manipulated by these sociopaths, it's a problem. So with Murdoch, it has a strong aspect to it that this dirty dealing is what they do in order to stay in positions of power. I feel like human beings right now are going towards a kind of energy that's very stable. And it feels to me like that stable energy and that stable political energy could, in the long run, weaken the Murdoch enterprise in the sense that you have these cards coming in like Three of Wands, which is that we get our wish over the issue of deception, that we must be patient and balanced rather than being manipulated. It's a powerful, the Murdoch enterprise is very powerful, but staying grounded in reality and being organized is basically the way we protect ourselves from that kind of chaos. Wow. That was fun, you guys. Oh, thank you, Cherish. What lovely words. Love you guys as well. You guys have, when you've come through the stuff that my sister and I have come through, you can become a bitter, angry, not believing in humanity and all of that stuff. But the love and kindness that we've been shown has really been very healing for my sister and I, and we're very grateful to this community. All right, I'm going to call it a day. Be sure and support the other readers. They're awesome. If you're trying to get into a reading with me, it's real easy to do. You just go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and you can book directly online. You just click on it, and then it'll give you I call my readings intuitive coaching, just because a lot of people don't like to see psychic reading. But yeah, you just click on it, pick your time. It's just boom, boom, boom. It's very easy. All right. Love and light, everybody. Have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your love and support. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you.